It's quite a humbling experience being a wildlife photographer. When you see all the different wildlife in their own environment around you, and it's really special to see. Very humbling. My name's Henry, I'm 62 years old. My interest is to do mainly with photography. I take a lot of photography out in the wild, the nature, wildlife. It all started really in the 70s when I first bought myself a SLR camera. It was a Canon. I wanted a Nikon but couldn't afford a Nikon. Obviously it was a lot harder in those days because you couldn't see what you'd taken until you got the film back. We had children, grown up, and in the last 10 years or so, 15 years, the interest developed again. We got more dogs and started taking them walking around, mainly around Smithills. I'm sat in the gardens of Smithills Hall. The hall dates back to about the 14th century when it was first built by the Hulton family. The earliest history known around here dates back to when the Knights Hospitallers lived in the area. In the 15th century it was taken over by the Radcliffe family, who lived here for a couple of hundred years, and when their whole family died out it was then taken over by the Barton family, who were very rich sheep farmers. Head of the Ainsworth family was Colonel Ainsworth, although he adopted the title of Colonel. His family lived here and they made their wealth in the bleach works that were dotted around Halliwell and Barrow Bridge. The mills have all but gone now. The only last remaining large landmark that's left is the chimney at Barrow Bridge, which can be seen for miles around. In 1896 there was a very famous trespass that occurred at the top of Coalpit Road. All the moorland was owned by Colonel Ainsworth and his family, and he had shooting parties up there. It was very closely guarded by his gamekeepers, but they'd closed off a footpath that people had used, and on one weekend there was a mass gathering of people that walked through Halliwell, they walked up Smithills Dean Road, and they walked up Coalpit Road up to the gate where it had been closed off to stop people walking over the moors. But by the following weekend they had the same march again, but this time there was up to 10,000 people walked up Coalpit Road. There's a monument, a stone, carved stone there by the gate. The people arrested were convicted of causing breach of the peace, Colonel Ainsworth was quite influential character, but eventually, after a few years, the gateway was opened and public were allowed to walk over the moors. By the 1930s, the Ainsworth family sold the whole estate to Bolton Corporation. In more recent years, the Woodland Trust have now taken over the whole estate of Smithills. It's their biggest estate that they own in the whole of the UK, and they're now trying to restore it back to some sort of better condition than what it was. I've been walking around here for over 35 years. Taking photographs around the Smithills estate is quite an experience. There's a lot sort of much closer to home. You only have to go and look for it. Around the Smithills estate there's quite a few birds of prey that can be seen around here, from barn owls, there's tawny owls, peregrine falcons that have their own nesting place. A lot of people know where these places are and they'll take photographs, but they don't like to disclose the locations. A few years ago we had quite a big fire on Winter Hill, 2018. So now a lot of the drainage ditches are being blocked up with wood and other vegetation to hold back the water, to make the moorland wet again, so as it doesn't become a dry tinderbox. Taken quite aback by the fact that a lot of wildlife is so close to you. There's lots to see around here and you don't realise how special the area is, and it's right on your own doorstep.